Martha McSally. She was the first female combat pilot and is now running for an Arizona congressional seat. Good evening.
Hi, Greta.
All right, you flew the A-10 Warthog, which I've learned is the guardian in the sky to protect the ground troops on the ground. I mean, it's a dangerous business doing this stuff. So tell me, how much are our pilots at risk who are doing these airdrops and also taking out certain ISIS members in their tanks?
Well, every time we fly into enemy territory as a pilot, we're at risk. You're at risk of potential small arms fire or rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, or other missiles. We're also at risk. We could have some sort of emergency where you have to eject. And so every time we launch for one of these missions, we're ready to go and we're ready to survive on the ground, evade, and we've got the training to be able to deal with that. So you're always at risk every time you go on a mission like this. And this, actually, the A-10 would be well suited for this situation because we do fly low and lethal and very survivable with long loiter times and 1,174 rounds of 30mm on board, where you can actually hit targets and not hurt any friendly forces or civilians that are in very close proximity.
Could you neutralize ISIS from the air only, or do you need ground troops?
Well, it's very challenging up until now. If you have clear military targets, which they've had, and you can, they're in isolated areas, you can go in without what we call JTACs, Joint Terminal Attack Control, and give the pilots the opportunity to find and identify those targets and then hit them after they identify them. Now it appears ISIS is changing their tactics from less conventional and sort of blending in more with the population. It becomes much more difficult to do that without a JTAC. You need to find and fix and finish those targets. And so doing that just from the air without the guy on the ground saying that's the target, deconflicted friendly forces, making sure there's no civilian casualties, that is very challenging to do just from the air, especially when they start blending more into the population.
All right, so best case scenario, assuming that we weren't all war worry and weren't concerned about so many things, how do you take out ISIS?
Well, first of all, we should have seen this coming. The Obama administration has failed and just watched this threat, as a cancer and metastasizing a cancer. It's been growing in its capability. It's been bankrolling itself, and so we've seen this threat coming, and now we're already in a crisis because we've watched it happen and done nothing about it. But it is a threat, not just for the humanitarian situation. We cannot have a failed state in Iraq and Syria that is a safe haven for jihadists to be trained, and they want to come out and obviously hurt us as well. So this is an international crisis at this point that the Obama administration should have seen coming, but he needs to start leading the international community in order to address this threat because it is a very serious threat. They are very capable, I would say more capable than Al-Qaeda on 9/11, and it needs to be addressed seriously. Right now, a military solution is not the only answer, though, but we've got to take away those military capabilities and then address it politically as well.
Colonel, thank you very much for joining us.
Sure, thanks for having me on, Greta.
And it's not just in Iraq. The Christians are under attack. Tonight, terrifying news